morning.
Good morning.
This is Kim.
This is Andy.
We're going to read from the Urantia book. But first we've got over here. It's way over here. Oh my gosh. Okay. Light the Flame by Andrew Harvey. And I'll read it today. This one is by Saint Ignatius of Loyola. So he was a Spanish priest who lived from 1491 to 1556. And what else did he do? He was a theologian. He founded the religious order called the Society of Jesus. Okay, so he was a high guy in Catholic, ideas. Okay, sorry, I got something in my page. All right, here we go. Dearest Lord, teach me to be generous. Teach me to serve thee as thou deserves, to give and not to count the cost, to fight and not to heed the wounds, to toil and not to seek for rest, to labor and not to seek reward, save that of knowing that I do thy will. Okay, so that's good. I want to take one exception here, to toil and not seek for rest. I think, and or to fight and not heed the wounds. I think that means just to keep going, but I think you have to. That's a balancing act, because you don't just rush forward without like understanding what you're doing. That's
Right.
There's such a thing as being overzealous. So I would add a little bit of temperance to that. Right?
Right. Yeah.
I feel the passion, the devotion here, the sacrifice of that, I believe, not to seek reward, to labor and not seek reward. Yeah, I mean, whatever rewards are brought to me, I don't lay them by my own. Whatever I have because of God. So those rewards that I'm only holding on to things. All these things is just temporary, and I bring them back to God. They just come through me, and I bring them back to God or pay it forward. I don't try to lay stock in my own, whatever it is I have, right? Right. But I think yeah, you have to measure the cost, because sometimes these things, they're not worth it. Right? Like we've talked about preaching a lot of times to people who aren't really welcoming your message.
Right.
That's something we've been concerned about lately, in a practical way. And so we have to measure that. Is it worth going through and just kind of blazing through and talking about, the new revelation and all this? Sometimes it's not worth it. And it's better just to let things be and rest. Oh my goodness, we need rest.
We do.
Okay. So I think
you can do this for the short term.
Yeah.
You can.
Okay, that's excellent. For the short term, it's like when I'm on a mission, and I got to plow through and I got to complete the mission. But after the mission is done, I'm going to rest.
You can rest,
Yeah. And before I embark on the mission, I'm going to count the cost.
Very good. Very good.
Okay, there you go. So we have a good take on that. Thank you very much, Ignatius of Loyola. Okay. So here today we have the Urantia book, and we're going to do paper 18. Scooch over. It's okay. All right. Paper 18, section 3. The Ancients of Days.
Mm.
Okay. So these are some major, these guys make like a lot of very important decisions. I think these are very high beings. Okay. When the mortals of time graduate from training worlds surrounding the headquarters of a local universe and are advanced to the educational spheres of their super universe, they have progressed in spiritual development to that point where they are able to recognize and communicate with the high spiritual rulers and directors of these advanced realms, including the Ancients of Days. So we will meet these people.
Wow.
And there's 3 of them on each super universe headquarters.
Mhm.
So there's 3 of them at Uversa. There's 21 total then. And there'll
Mhm.
never be any more.
Mm.
The Ancients of Days are all basically identical. They disclose the combined character and unified nature of the Trinity. They possess individuality. Okay, they're identical, but they possess individuality. Because I'm thinking like twins, triplets, whatever. And are in personality diverse, but they do not differ from each other as do the 7 master spirits. They provide the uniform directorship of the otherwise differing 7 super universes, each of which is a distinct, segregated, and unique creation. The 7 master spirits are unlike in nature and attributes, because the master spirits represent that, Father, the Son, Father, the Spirit, the Father, Son, that.
Mhm.
Okay. 7 master spirits are unlike in nature and attributes, but the Ancients of Days, the personal rulers of the universe, of the super universes, are all uniform and super perfect offspring of the Paradise Trinity.
Wow.
So they're reflecting the nature of all 3 all the time. Each one of them does.
Mhm.
The 7 master spirits on high determine the nature of their respective super universes. But the Ancients of Days dictate the administration of these same super universes. They superimpose administrative uniformity on creative diversity and ensure the harmony of the whole in the face of the underlying creational differences of the 7 segmental groupings of the grand universe. So I feel all the time that all of creation is about this blossoming creativity, but then that's in juxtaposed by, okay, the administration and the fairness, the order,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So there's always kind of this tension, this push pull between those 2 factors. So here we see that each super universe is different. They're very different from each other, but the way we treat them, the way we administer to them is uniform.
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay. Mhm.
Okay. I'll do one more and then you go.
Okay.
The Ancients of Days were all trinitized at the same time. They represent the beginning of the personality records of the universe of universes, hence their name, Ancients of Days. When you reach paradise and search the written records of the beginning of things, you will find that the first entry appearing in the personality section is the recital of the trinitization of these 21 Ancients of Days. So here they're talking about like the Akashic records. You've heard of the Akashic
Mhm.
records, yeah.
Mhm.
So there's actually a big book up there listing everything that's ever happened. Is that yeah. So we go up there and we look at the first thing that happened. The very first thing that happened in Uversa, in Orvanton, right? In our super universe. The very first thing that happened was these three ancients of days were trinitized. Boom.
Wow.
Isn't that
If, wow.
wow, he goes.
In the Akashic record, then, the creation of a planet or a solar system
And that's a
is
small matter, of
not
course.
is not on the same level as something I did wrong, a sin.
Oh gosh. No.
No.
That's, and it says specifically sins can be erased.
Oh, wow.
Literally erased
Mhm.
through forgiveness.
Mhm. Mhm.
Literally erased.
That's amazing. Yeah,
Okay.
but it's always bigger than we think personally.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. You get used to trying to see things in bigger patterns. This small thing looks like it's random. Like one little so you've got well see I crochet, so I do yarn, right? So if I got one little stitch that's different in surrounded by 10 other stitches that are this all the same or whatever, but then I got to blow that up and I see, oh, that little stitch, that different stitch is so important because that's part of the pattern, the picture that's in the creation.
Mhm.
So that's
Mhm.
really an important part of it. It's just like it looks different when you're only looking at this much, but you look at the whole thing and it's like, oh, it's grand, it's
Mhm.
fantastic.
Also, nothing that we make is perfect. So some people intentionally do an imperfection in their work.
Ah, okay. To let the spirit escape. Yeah, that's Native American
Mhm.
thing. Yep, to let the spirit escape. So they make an imperfection there.
Mhm.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, where are we?
Okay. There are these high beings.
These high beings always govern in groups of three. There are many phases of activity in which they work as individuals, still others in which any two can function. But in the higher spheres of their administration, they must act jointly. They never personally leave their residential worlds, but when they do not have to,
But
but
then they
then they do not have to. These worlds are the super universe focal points of the far flung reflectivity system. The personal abodes of each trio of the Ancients of Days are located at the point of spiritual polarity on their headquarters sphere. Such a sphere is divided into 70 administrative sectors and has 70 divisional capitals in which the Ancients of Days reside from time to time.
okay, hold on. Okay, they're look at the point of spiritual polarity.
Mm.
Okay, so what's we think of like magnetic polarity.
Mhm.
That's kind of polarity we know.
Mhm.
But they are located at the point of spiritual polarity.
Wow.
So at this point where there's the greatest differentiation between good and evil or something like that.
Or right, yeah, right and wrong. Mhm.
Right. Okay. Right and wrong. Yeah. Right and yeah.
In power, scope of authority, and extent of jurisdiction, the Ancients of Days are the most powerful and mighty of many of the direct rulers of the
Of
time-space
any of them.
of any of the direct rulers of the time-space creations. In all the vast universe of universes, they alone are invested with the high power of final executive judgment concerning the eternal extinction of will creatures, and all three Ancients of Days must participate in the final decrees of the Supreme Tribunal of the Super Universe.
Okay. So these guys decide if this is where the judgment is. When I first learned about this, I thought, well, that's really not fair. Why, these guys are why I wanted like Jesus to judge me, or even just God to judge me whether I lived a good life or not.
Mhm.
But from what I understand is that you have to screw up pretty bad. Um, like, I mean, okay, like Hitler's probably still has a chance to get into heaven. I mean, it's like that. It's literally God's mercy is so huge. So it's like, however, so if you don't um, really want to live, because you can't force somebody to want to live, I guess, is what they're saying. So, but these people, these three will make those decisions. That's huge, though. That's huge responsibility. Wow. So they alone are invested with that. So it takes a decree of all three of them unanimously.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I think, I don't know, I've got this other idea that it's actually they're deciding on the fate of a time space continuum.
Mm. Something big.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Whether that's going to be cut off here or whether there's anything productive coming from that. Because those are like the branches of the.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Aside from the deities and their paradise associates, the Ancients of Days are the most perfect, most versatile, and the most divinely endowed rulers of all time-space existence.
Okay. That makes me think, what are the deities and their paradise associates? Does that mean like
Oh,
the original three, the Father, Son, and Spirit?
mm, hmm,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Apparently, they are the supreme rulers of the super universes, but they have not experientially earned the right to rule, and are therefore destined to sometimes be superseded by the supreme being.
Ah, okay. Because they were just perfected automatically. So they haven't experientially earned this right to rule. So they're thinking supreme being is going to come and rule in there. Okay, that's interesting.
By the supreme being, an experiential sovereign, whose vice, what's that?
Where you at? That vicegerent.
Vicegerents they will undoubtedly become.
Okay, so vicegerents, yeah, rule um, as advisors, or or like in if the ruler himself is incapacitated or something,
Hmm.
then the vicegerents come and rule it.
Okay. The supreme being is achieving the sovereignty of the seven super universes by experiential service, just as a creator's son experientially earns the sovereignty of his local universe.
Yeah. See. So it's important to earn your earn this sovereignty, earn the right to govern by trying to understand your subjects
Hmm.
through experiencing what they experience.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But during the present age of the unfinished evolution of the Supreme, the Ancients of Days provide the coordinated and perfect administrative over-control of the evolving universes of time and space, and the wisdom of originality and the initiative of individuality characterize all the decrees and rulings of the Ancients of Days.
Wow.
Mm.
So think about what it would be like. Okay, what if the supreme being? I always would call him the sleeping god. And I have a picture of him
Mhm.
in my and he's like, because he's dreaming all of us.
Mhm.
He's dreaming us, so
Mhm.
all of our experiences and all of our trials and stuff go are filed into his experiential database.
Mhm.
So what a day it will be when, okay, that's when all of our super universes will be settled in light and life. So, and then the supreme being will wake up and say, okay, I'm ready.
Mm.
I understand, and I have the most depth of compassion and empathy for all of the beings, and all of creation. Can you imagine? Like we'll be there to witness that.
So the ancients of days, although powerful, um, are more of a administrative maintenance,
Yeah.
control, taking care of the details. Although, I mean, those
Kind
are
of like,
pretty big details, but
yeah. Like before Jesus came, Jesus wasn't like what Emmanuel or something. That our planet, our universe was kind of taken cared for by, his elders, and the planetary prince they sent here. They started to do all kinds of things. So it was kind of like, but it's kind of like set on kind of like an automatic system
mhm,
rather than a personal.
experiential.
I understand your experience, and we can
Mhm.
communicate together on that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's important. So I'm glad, God, all this constructs is recognizing the importance of being ruled by people who really understand us.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
See?
Mm-hmm.
I said see, Andy. Okay, all right. Okay, well that's all, I guess.
Ancients of days.
Yeah, ancients of
Very
days.
important.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of everything, they're very important.
They're very big. These are
Mhm.
big power brokers,
Mm-hmm.
but they're pure. There's no way to corrupt them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine like all our cronies over here? Hey, ancients of days number whatever, we got all of our stuff here. We're a very, very powerful group from Super Universe number over here. And we have our all our investments riding on this kind of an outcome. Can you help us affect that? Yeah, can you imagine? No,
Wow.
that's what goes on now today, though, down here.
I'm just living my little life.
I know. Okay. All right, we got to go. We're going to go to church.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys have a good day. Love you all.
Have a great Sunday.
All right, bye.
Bye.